Yes, hi guys, good evening. Good evening, London, good evening, the United Kingdom, good evening, world, good evening, Africa, good evening, Lagos, good evening, Accra, good evening, Poland, good evening, the United States, good evening to you. Bukola Odufadiri Olusoya from the west coast of the United States. Good evening, Ayo Ogundimo. Yes, I can support you there. Good evening. I salute each and every one of you. Yes, Ayo Gudimu. I tried first before we go into the nitty-gritty of this show. I think you were being flagged ruthlessly today, in as much as I keep enjoying your show. Gottlieb Denizard, Rick Ross, good evening to you. Yeah, but then and again, because you were busy talking at the top of your head and you're not particularly monitoring the sharks, the vagabonds, the people who continue to monitor all your activities on Facebook, the Buhari Deans, the Buhari Didinis, the Buhari Thieves, look, Mayego knows how he describes all these people. But I think I called your attention to a particular guy that I sensed he crept in just to monitor and to see your activities, but obviously because you were extremely busy. Nuran Daura. I think you have to block that guy called Nuran Daura. See, because I deal with information all the time and I chew information day and night, I'm extremely suspicious of people when I am flagged. You see, I have not been flagged since I got rid of all the useless people. Because what you're basically doing, so look, one of the things that protects Facebook is so long as you are not sharing sexually explicit contents on Facebook, and so long as you're not promoting terrorist activities, you're safe. But then and again, I said I was going to talk to you about this, and I think when I got that information, I tried calling you, but you were not picking up your phone. So I think I'll address that issue once and for all before we go into the nitty-gritty of everything. Thank you all. Please, if you want to share it, but I'm still addressing Ayo Gundimu for now because I think I am in contacts with a lot of people on both the YouTube and the Facebook, and I can honestly tell you that Ayo Gundimu, I think you became a target for Facebook. I think the very day that you came up with a podcast to which you continue to hammer on some of the powers that be in Europe. I'll remind you, you remember that podcast where you hit so hard on De La Rue. If you remember that podcast very well, I continue to actually caution you about everything you were saying about De La Rue that was contrary to what you were saying, because that was contrary to what was on ground. De La Rue, you remember? Yes, you said yes. I continue to post and continue to caution you that that is not the case. And I think since that day you made that podcast on De La Rue that was extremely misinforming to the public, that was the day an eye was put on you by Facebook. You don't mess about with all these power brokers. Look, I want to address this issue very clearly so that you can see the world, because I am a professional publisher and I'm a printer, Ayogundimu, and I've been through 4 solid years at the printing school. I know how to print money if I want to print money. If I want to print a counterfeit money, I know what to do to print counterfeit money, because the very first day that I entered into the London College of Printing, you can never see this film Ayogundimu outside. That film on how money is printed all over the whole world is only exclusive to printing and publishing students on their first day on their course. I'm not sure now whether it is still applicable, but in 1997, that was the very first thing that we were shown at the main lecture theatre at the London College of Printing. And the man that was behind it actually took me on a special subject in printing management. I'll mention his name. Perhaps he's probably dead now, because he was an old man then. Derek Porter. Derek Porter happens to be a consultant to the same institution, De La Rue. Derek Porter is a consultant to many of the central banks around the whole world. And Derek Porter, at that time, was a fellow of PIRA. Most of you don't know what PIRA is. P-I-R-A. That is the special institution that is responsible for the research of printing across the whole world. Derek Porter was the one that actually showed the 200 of us on the printing and the publishing degree at the main lecture theatre of the famous London College of Printing, that prestigious institution. And we saw it. That film is not, I have never seen the film outside, period. Because Derek Porter told us we will be the managers of tomorrow when he is gone, and that we will be commanding the whole world on how the world should go in terms of what type of security should be included in a currency such as Nigeria that is vulnerable, and many of the African countries. Not that the currency, not that the British pound sterling It's not vulnerable to counterfeit. It is vulnerable to counterfeit, and I tell you, they've spent the same counterfeit for me. So, the same institution you were hammering on, De La Rue, they were responsible. De La Rue happens to be the main technical partner. That is what I'll say. Technical partner. They, and look, you've got your individual central banks in your country. The Bank of England, De La Rue is a technical partner to them. The Central Bank of Nigeria, De La Rue was a technical, and it is still a technical partner to them, because De La Rue is a specialist organization that are so much involved into security printing. Their expertise is security printing. Your passports and any security documents anywhere in the world, they know what to do to incorporate in terms of security against forgery. And that's why I kept on cautioning you as at that time. Nigeria cannot. Look, because they are technical partners to the CBN, your money is printed locally. Not that De La Rue prints your money. Your money is printed in Nigeria by the Nigerian Security Printing and Mints. Your passport is equally printed by the Nigerian Security Printing and Mints, but to actually incorporate all the security stuff that is required that will make those security documents non-forgeable, so that your individual governments all over the whole world will be on top of their own security documents. That's where De La Rue comes in. And that's why the plates, I'm not supposed to tell you this, the printing plates that the Nigerian Security Printing and Mints will use to print both your money and your passport are all made here in England, because they've incorporated all the securities inside it. If De La Rue are not on top of the game, then you will find out that places like Oluwole in Lagos will continue to print your passport, and they will continue to print your money. Sorry about that. I'm on a live stream, Princeton.
Okay. Okay, see you later. Bye.
All right. But because you came up, I'm just telling you, I was cautioning you. I was seriously cautioning you, and I continue to tell you it is not the case. But because you've not called me to ask me for an advice and then tell you. They went through, look, Facebook will go through everything, and they know. All the comments, the way I was cautioning you that that's not the case. That's why. And because you've gone to that extreme, and because you are not actually propagating terrorism and many of the other vices that will make the MI5 or the MI6 to keep an eye on you. That's why they're not bothered. Good evening, guys. I know I've seen quite a handful of you this evening. I should have enjoyed Ayogundemu's show. It was spectacular, especially on Nigeria. Very, very spectacular. What we want to talk about on my show here, I'm not too sure if Lizzie, I think I spotted Lizzie Azu somewhere. Lizzie Azu, are you in? Yeah, I spotted you. Thanks, Lizzie. Yeah, thank you, Lizzie, because I think Lizzie was on the phone to me. And what we want to talk about today is the thieves in Nigeria. The thieves in Nigeria. Maureen Hink. Is it Hink or Hank? Yes, we want to talk about the thieves in Nigeria. And I think I've had this, I think this idea actually came into me as I was coming back home from work this evening. Yeah, Bukola Odufadiri, yes. I think I acknowledged you earlier on when I was given a salutation. Maureen Hank, yes, your husband is saying hello. Thank you. You're watching the show with your husband. Bless you too. You see, I think it was because, you see, I am very, very unpredictable, and because I'm very, very unpredictable, you see, people tend not to see or monitor my sleeping pattern. So because, you know, people are not, because I know people are not, because I'm prone to attacks, spiritual attacks, especially in sleep. I'm spiritually conscious, and I've fought many battles. You know, I've fought a lot of battles. Those occultists in your country, they're scared of me. So sometimes they come, they wrestle with me. Like we fight in dreams. And that fight in the dreams are spiritual battle. I'm not scared of them. I always tell them I'm not scared of them. But they will eventually die, whether they like it or not. Lizzie Azu, we go into that. Way to go, sir. Separation. You missed Ayogundemu's show. Lizzie Azu actually called my attention to something that I picked up 2 a.m. and I think, yeah, because I was up that early, 2 o'clock, in the middle of the winching hours, that the witches and the wizards and all those bad stuff are flying about in the air that human eyes cannot see. So I picked Lizzie Azu's message that she actually sent onto my inbox about the runway, the code that was employed in the Murtala Mohammed runway in Lagos. And you guys will remember that I broke it down to you all that Nigeria, that nasty piece of contraption that was molded up by Lugard in the 1914 amalgamation fraudulently, that is still haunting that nasty piece of a nation that you lot called Nigeria. Look, make no mistakes. There's nothing called Nigeria. Nigeria is a fraud. Good evening, Olufumila Yetunde Shomi. That country, that name, Nigeria, is a 9 when it was finally decoded. That was contained in that presentation that I made to Quich. I am putting up that book. The book itself is taking shape. The shape is quite good because a lot of revelation is coming out of the book. Nigeria, when it is subsequently collapsed, that name, Nigeria, when it is subsequently collapsed into a single digit or unit, what you get is a 9. The country code, Nigeria as a country, the code to Nigeria as a country is 234. If you have to ring Nigeria anywhere in the world, you need that code 234 to gain access into that country. 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 9. Remember, the name Nigeria, 9. The country's access code, 234. When you collapse that, 9. The exit code to the country to call anywhere in the world from Nigeria, the exit code you need to gain access out of Nigeria to the rest of the world is 009. Is that a coincidence, guys? That's not all. Lizzie Azu brought, which I am going to acknowledge, it's going to go into the book because she brought about that revelation. And I've taken that revelation further because all I said to Lizzie, 2 a.m. this morning, when I was going through all my messages, but her message was the first. And I said, Lizzie, I'm going to look into this because she told me, I know Lizzie Azu happens to be an aviation enthusiast, as she pointed out. I know she is an aviation enthusiast because I've watched many of Lizzie's podcasts, flying and being captivated by aeroplane, just like me. I'm an aviation enthusiast. In fact, on this tablet, I tell you what, I've got flight simulators. I fly different aeroplanes virtually in this laptop when I don't have anything to do. Because what I wanted to be before was to fly an aeroplane, to be a pilot. But obviously my father, being a civil engineer, never allowed me. My father discouraged me just to say to me in those days that being a pilot is a glorified driver. He wanted me to be a civil engineer like him. But I was never interested in civil. Because he was a civil engineer does not mean I should be a civil engineer. I was groomed for it. But it was not just my calling. So Lizzie, as an aviation enthusiast like myself, then called my attention to the fact that she came across something scary that the two runways on Murtala Mohammed, there are two of them. The two are 9. One is 3 plus 6. And another one is 1 plus 8. The same Tesla code. The same 369 code. So how come Lizzie Azu opened my eyes into that particular area? Saint Larry Popola, I picked up your message earlier on today. You moaning, but many people, when I was telling each and every one, I can see Stephanie Sinota's picture and Elizabeth Leilja, I can see Grace Emiogolo, I can see all your pictures in front there. We all told you people, the moment you make mistakes in 2019, you will plunge your country back into another 60 years of misery. Murtala Mohammed runway. Steering, I checked it out today. I checked it out, and it wasn't just only the runway that Nigeria is secretly vibrating on that 9 code. The code, the abbreviation for Nigeria is NGR. If you have to travel from Heathrow or from any other parts of the world, so the country code in terms of its abbreviation is NGR. Break NGR down into its single unit. It is a 3. Lagos. This is very scary. And I'm going to tell you. Lagos, that housed Murtala Mohammed Airport. I tried as much as possible to collapse and find out what Lagos code is. And after collapsing Lagos, guess what? Lagos that housed Murtala Mohammed with a runway of a 9 code, Lagos is equally a 9. And guess what? This is scary because Lizzie took me to a different realm entirely to begin to extract more hidden code about that country. Thank you, Lizzie, for that. I've never looked into that. Lagos, if you have to travel, if BA will have to tag your luggage from London to Lagos. Lagos is LOS, loss. Check out what loss is. LOS. Loss is 3 plus 6 plus 1. That's 10. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Now, if you have to call Lagos on a land phone, if you want to call anybody on a land phone in Lagos, you need 234, which is 9, and then plus 1. So Lagos is 1. It's scary. So that means of every areas that the British created, because Lagos was the very first place that the British entered Nigeria through the sea. So Lagos happens to be the number one. And the wealth of the country came from Lagos. So how come when the British that molded that country decided that they wanted to make Lagos as the financial center of Nigeria, so that in the world order they intend to create for the whole world in Africa, in the scramble for Africa through the 1884 Berlin Conference, Lagos will be the financial center. And from Lagos, anything Africa in terms of financial attractions come over to London. Listen, it gets very scary from here. Then I took this another step further. I know for a fact that, see, Nigeria is sitting on a particular latitude and longitude on the globe, on the world map, because each and every area on the world map has got its own coordinates. And this is what they're not telling you, because the Freemasons, the Ogboni fraternity, the Skull and Bones, the Knights of Maltas, the Scottish Rites, you may call them the Illuminatis. They are the ones dictating the shots. They are the ones ruling. Guess what? Nigeria's coordinates on the world map, where Nigeria is sitting in terms of its longitude and latitude. Nigeria's coordinate, guess what, is 9.0820 degrees north and 8.6. 8.6 is equaling 9. When you approximate that, 8.6753 degrees east of the Greenwich meridian. So that 8.6 is equaling 9 when you approximate that. So that means Nigeria is 9. The code. If a plane, if any plane, if any aircraft will have to fly into Nigeria, what Lizzie pointed out to me, the 3+6 and then the 1+8 on the 2 runways, that has got a correlation with the sky routing of Nigeria. And there's an organization that does that in the aviation industry. And that code that is attached to Nigeria's sky routing, to which any pilot will have to program that route onto their navigator. That code is 234-9291-5309. Yeah, coronavirus is a well-planned agenda. That's part of the new world order game. Depopulation. Coronavirus is about depopulation. They reckon the world is too much filled with people, and as such, they just have to get rid of some people. Guys, I'm crazy. Listen, the master thieves is what we want to talk about. Yeah, thank you, Maureen Hank. A lot of people don't know about that. I'm not, because the issue of the population, I'm addressing that in the previous book that I suspended before writing this one, because I can easily finish this current book, Extreme Nigeria, Extreme Marriage between the rich southern wife and the poor northern husband. I suspended cracking the universal secret code. I think I was on page 400, and that book is going to go right up to about 700 pages. Huge. Listen, the master thieves is what we're talking about this particular night. Today, the 25th, Tuesday, the 25th day of February 2019. The time in London is just coming to 1925 today. Veronica George, Presido, that's my good friend. Witchcraft is everywhere. Yeah, witchcraft, Veronica, is divided up into three: black, red, and white. It's the same thing, but the white is always the good one, because the white are the angelic ones, and they will always dominate. That's why when you look at the Ogboni fraternity and everyone, they're always in white. But they can work in collaboration with the black and the red to bring total chaos and destruction. But they are always the master, because the black and the red will never go near the white, because the white can easily destroy them. I know so much about this. The thieves in Nigeria. I'm going to tilt the camera to face the other side, because there's some stuff I want to show you guys from the workstation, and then we will talk about those stuff. Maureen Hink, yes, a lot is going on indeed. I've been warning these guys. Let me start. I'm going to start with this particular one. I'm going to start with this particular one, and I want you to please look at this very carefully. Watch the clip. Some of you probably must have seen it because it's gone viral. And I want you to please open up your inner eyes, because you need your inner eyes, your third eye. Listen to this.
The truth is, nobody who is a leader in northern Nigeria today can afford to be happy.
Okay, I'm going to turn it And I want you to listen to that. I'm going to turn the camera around. Okay, here we are.
The truth is, nobody who is a leader in northern Nigeria today can afford to be happy. You can't be happy with 87% of the poverty in Nigeria being in the north. You can't be happy with millions of northern children out of school.
Can you hear that?
You can't be happy with 9 states in the north contributing almost 50%.
9 states in the north contributing
You can't be happy with the
90% of
You can't be happy
malnutrition.
with the Boko Haram problem. You can't be happy with political thuggery. You can't be
Political
happy with all the
thuggery.
issues. The Almajiri problem.
Almajiri's problem.
So when we wish Nasser a happy birthday, we do not want him to be happy as a leader, because you are happy when you think you have reached a state of delivering and taking your people to where you want them to be.
I'll stop this here and I'll face the camera round me. Did you hear that? That was the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. When the going was good. If you check on my walls, you'll see, if you check on my picture album, I've met all these guys one-on-one. I was meant to meet Sanusi Lamido Sanusi when he was the governor of the central bank, when I was in Nigeria for almost 3 months covering Ibrahim Babangida's 70 years when he turned a septuagenarian, because he's Sanusi Lamido Sanusi's closest friend at the time, to which I was very close to in London, was our head of chancery in London, the third man after the High Commissioner. And he later became the Nigerian, after he left London, he then became our ambassador to Saudi Arabia. See, what I want to point out in Sanusi Lamido Sanusi's statement here was the issue of the Almanjiri's children. Because when you, in the same book, I've actually dissected the total number of years that the North devolved over Nigeria out of the 60 years since independence. And the total number of years that the South perhaps took over power by accident. It is terrible that out of the 60 years, the North devolved for almost 47 years of our history. But still, the issue of abject, or should we say perpetual poverty, has destroyed the North. See, like I said, based on the fact that I am human. I am not looking at that as a northern problem. I am looking at that problem as human. North, you've ruled for almost 47 years. And you were unable to educate your children. You call them Almanjiris. But it is a total, I see this as a total and complete failure by all those northern leaders. And in 2020, one useless, stupid vagabond had the audacity to reply Lamido Sanusi outlining and then pinpointing to the whole world that the North failed the northern children for not educating them. But the reality, what we have to really look into, is the fact that the richest people in Nigeria today are the northerners. All the leaders combined. Ayogundimu was talking about Abacha's loot. They were all there to steal. Almost 47 years. Northern leaders were unable to tackle and to trash the problems that was facing them in the face. But rather than that, they rather want the people to come and do rack and dede and then lick their bottoms and their foots. See, like I always say, I came out from a father who believed that he will not leave money or property behind, even though he was privileged. My father was privileged before all this Obasanjo and all these people. Because the colonialist educated my father, because he was extremely gifted academically. The colonialist made sure before your independence, the same man was brought back after his education in England in civil engineering. And the same man that was privileged to steal money at the time. I'll tell you a story. I think I once said it. Jakonde's, not Latif Jakonde, the former governor, but Jakonde's father, the father that begat Jakonde, that gave birth to Jakonde, was Z.A. Bello's messenger, my dad's messenger at the town planning office in Ikeja when ZAB was the chief town planning officer for the whole Federation of Nigeria before independence. At the time, my father was living at number 1 Akindelu Street in Ikate, the house he built for himself. And up till today, anyone that knows Ikate very well, go to number 1 Akindelu Street in Ikate and then look at the structure of that house. If you will not find the Britishness in that house. 6 in the morning, Jakonde's father was usually at my dad's house. He was an action group man. My father never saw Jakonde's father as a just purely civil service, because he was attached to my dad at the town planning office. Jaconde's father was the one that actually came to my dad to say to my dad that, Bello, oh, you don't need to be going through all this plan and everything and then study, because after work from the office, my dad will return back home with huge plans, too many plans that needed approval. But ZAB will have to go through each and every of those plans in details before giving his consent, his signature and the stamp. Jaconde's father told my father, all you need to do is just sign and the money will come to you. My dad said no, he will never do that. And he was adamant. Any plan that was not putting up will fail. Imagine us at that time. My dad told me how corrupt that nation was. So if at the end of the day, Lamido Sanusi can see the problems the North is having to face 60 years after independence, with 90% poverty rate in the North, and he's talking about it, and you've got some stupid people, vagabonds, thieves in the Nigerian political system, who then came out and then told a man of virtue, a man who identified the problems facing their own region, for politicians to tackle the same problem. Then one of their own idiots, one of their own vagabond, one of their own prodigal sons then came out to attack the Emir of Kano, that Almanjiri was part and parcel of the culture in the North. Is that not stupidity? These are the thieves, and I have proofs to show you guys, because we tailed and we monitor this same thief who accused this man of virtue, speaking the truth, talking about all the multifarious activities bedeviling the Northern Protectorate that Lugard merged fraudulently in an extreme marriage with the South. Why should we remain as one when we've got all those thieves around? I called, and I think it's gone viral. And I want to show you. I want to show you. I'll tilt the camera round again. Let me tilt it round. See? That is the picture of the guy. That man, this man. He was the one that actually accused Nasiru Sanusi Lamido Sanusi to say to Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, his name is Adamu Garba. You can see that. His name is Adamu Garba. He said Almanjiri is the pride of the North. Almanjiri is the pride of the North. But look at him. Look at him. Look at his son. Look. Look at his son. Guess what? They are not even in his state. His children, the son and the daughter, they are living a flamboyant lifestyle. Guess what? In Lagos. And they fly over to England as they want. But he accused Sanusi Lamido Sanusi that Almanjiri was the pride of the North. But he, this same thief, knows how to keep his own family. Look at his son. Look at him. That's him and his son. Okay, you can see that. That is his wife. Let me reduce this, if I may. Let me see if I can reduce that, guys. Let me see if I can reduce it. Yeah, let me go back to that. See? That is the man and his son. You can see that. That is the wife and the son and the daughter. And obviously you can see them here too. See? That is the wife. See? The son and the daughter. And obviously here they are again. See? They live in large. But the same useless vagabond does not want other children to be educated. Look at this. Let me play you this. Listen to this. Look at. See the Almanjiri children. This was exactly what Sanusi Lamido Sanusi was talking about. Look at them. And somebody had the audacity and the gut to say it is the pride of the North. Look at them. Look. Look. Look at them. Look how big this guys are. Shame on them. Tamboroba to you, Adamu. Tamboroba to you. For now, I look at those children. I don't care. Look, I put my tribe to one side. We're talking about humanity, your service to humanity. Where is that human portion or the elements or the godliness in such a thief who is now claiming that Almanjiri is the pride of the North, that the poor is the pride of the North? Shegemutumo Banzani. Yeah, Stephen Ocheje. All those allocations are bloody useless to them. They eat them up. Forget about allocations. Forget. Tamboroba. Shegemutumo Banzani. See? But who cursed? Who is the main perpetrator of this problem? The main perpetrator of the plight, the state that we are today as a nation. Who is the perpetrator? It's this man. Listen, I'll tilt the camera round again so that you guys can see. The perpetrator is him. That's him. This too. Yeah, the bane. Some people will know him as Jaga Bandit, the one to the right, the one to the left. They probably know him as Osho. These were the people. These two especially, are the master thieves in the entire Nigeria. These two. These two. Look at their face. Look at their faces very well. Can you see the 8 lying on its side on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's head? That 8 lying on its side is called infinity, something that has no ending. Because when that 8 is standing upright, you get the real 8. But when it is sleeping on its side, you get infinity. And that, when 8 is turned 180 degrees, sleeping on its side, it then becomes occultic. And that is witchcraft. It's just round the corner. That day is just round the corner. Let's leave it where we are today. Let me spin the camera round again. Nigeria is dominated by rogues, thieves, and robbers. Guys, let me bring this to a close. Let me say a big thank you to Ayo Gundimu. Let me say a big thank you to each and every one of you. Stephen, I'm seeing Stephen Ocheje first. Emma Frank, I'm seeing that name too for the first time. If this is your first time, I know I've got loads of viewers. I think I'm going to do some show to which I'll probably do some stuff on the board based on that information that I've managed to investigate through Lizzie Azu on the Lagos runway with the 3, 6 and the 1-8. That's that hidden code. So I'm still going to go a lot more into it. So guys, don't let me keep you for such a long time. So I'll be back with you. And yes, I'm already the wrong ways. Yes, I'll be back with you hopefully at some point in time. I think I enjoy dishing out the show directly, as you know, I have to face the screen so that I can talk at the top of my head and you guys can see proofs on screen. So thank you all for watching the show. If you want to share it, because there's a lot of information that's been contained in here, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Nigerians will like to hear about it. So share it if you want to share it. I don't have any problems with that because my people, the Bible says, perish for lack of knowledge. Until next time, guys, it's just coming to 1953 today, Tuesday, the 25th day of February 2020. Until next time, guys, take extra care of yourselves and make sure you live decently and by God's laws and principles. Until that next time, stay cool, and I wish you God's guidance and blessings, and have a good evening. Thank you. Goodbye.